Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
Welcome, everybody. Hello. This is my dog that has grown almost a foot now since we last talked. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Katie and I are reflecting on the first 6 months of the year because we're at the halfway point as this halfway point puppy. Come here, baby girl. Oh, my goodness. Is going to hang out with us for a tittle. Oh, she's so big. Yes.
And it's all about, I think, highlighting our moments of awkwardness that turned out to be empowering.
Yeah.
Was what we kind of talked about beforehand, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, 100%. We'll flow with it as we do. All right.
One of the things that I was trying very hard at the beginning of the year was remaining calm in awkward situations. And yeah, that is really, really, really hard.
Oh, it's like, all right. So Kitty and I were talking about this earlier. You know, my dog is eating everything. And essentially, I was sharing how awkward moments are actually like my favorite moments. A lot of people find them very kind of like painful because you're just sitting there like, oh, it's really hard to watch and feel. And I'm just like, keep going.
Well, it's a moment of growth, and growth is usually awkward and uncomfortable. At least I keep telling myself that. Because I know that at the end I'm going to be better off than where I was beforehand.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, like one big awkward moment.
Yeah, getting the puppy was definitely awkward for you because it came out of left field, so to speak. It was not a planned.
It was quite a universal curveball.
Yes.
And it was funny because like in those moments, you know, when something comes to you and you think you're not ready, right? But everything inside, like, you know, right, when you know you want something and your heart clicks to it, right?
Right.
What ends up happening?
It usually happens.
It happens, you go for it, you'll make anything work to keep it, sustain it, have it grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had that awkward moment of, oh shoot, I'm ready for this. And here she is. And now I'm like a mom.
Yes, you are. You're like
I'm
a
in
new mom.
I'm in full maternal mode. You have no, it's kind of an interesting, awkward moment there where I've been learning and understanding how to not necessarily, it's not that I've been selfish and I just only thought of myself growing up or throughout this year, but like I knew I wanted a kid one day. I just, you know, baby steps
It,
comes
it,
with puppies.
yes, with any pet. We'll put it
Yeah.
that way, with any pet, because it is a whole new set of responsibilities. It's a whole new set of skills. It's a whole new adjustment to your environment. And it's the same thing with a new job. It's the same thing with a new roommate or a new significant other.
New psychiatrist. It's all
New doctor's office, yeah.
talk about. So I changed my eye doctor. I changed my I'm about to change my psychiatrist actually. I changed like I'm about to change dental. Like there's just
Mm-hmm.
everything on my medical side of things. I didn't realize how much benefits you have in the state of California on certain insurance plans. And I was like, oh my goodness, all of this is covered. Wow. So I'm changing everything. And it's like I actually met the politician that helped get this going in the state. I've been to his house, like cat sat as cat. Like I just talk about an awkward moment. But like that has been a recent change. Because before I was going off of like just paying out of pocket for private, and that gets really expensive and
Yeah.
really nerve-wracking when things don't follow through and you need specific things covered. It's just awful. And then additionally to that, like my CPA, that's another growth point. He passed
Mhm.
away. We talked about that. We love him. Me trusting another CPA is very hard.
Yes.
It is
And very
very hard.
awkward.
Very awkward. I'm like, hi, what happened to your past CPA? Well,
Yeah, that it's kind of like the only reason I'm looking at hiring you is because my buddy is gone. You know, that it can be very awkward for on both sides of that conversation, actually.
oh, wait, he's such an incredible human being. So I have experienced a lot of deaths this year. I don't know about anybody else. It's more than normal.
I
Um,
I would I can list mine, and I have experienced a lot of grief because
mhm.
it's not necessarily death, but it's like the death
Changing,
of an
yeah.
identity, the
Mhm.
death of a job or an opportunity
Yeah, yeah.
or
A
a
mask.
friendship. And so there's still that whole grieving process that we go through for these
Mm.
things that aren't quote unquote life or death, but we still grieve.
Technically speaking, they are death, but yes,
Yeah.
they are. Yes. But
Okay,
I know what you
everyone's
mean.
still breathing, which is
Okay, on it, yes, yeah. So it is actually fascinating that you bring that up because like I was actually talking to somebody today about I guess identity or whatnot. Like
Mhm.
for instance, when you go through relationships, sometimes depending on the relationship, you wear a mask on in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird because I was talking to somebody about a past relationship that I was in, and I was like, why did I make those decisions? That doesn't feel like me at all.
Yeah.
Why did I do X, Y, and Z? That doesn't feel like why do I finally feel like me after 3 years? And they were like, you know, there's also my Saturn return. If anybody knows what that is, it's like you're going through all of the shadow work for like 3 years, and any of those weak points that well, what you consider weak, right? Any of those
Right.
points that you don't necessarily bring in confidence to your everyday. Like I was exploring all of that, like deep diving into that for 3 years. And it was pretty shaky, right? So now I'm kind of I feel like I'm back in a weird way.
I understand that because I went
Yeah.
through not necessarily, okay. I went through the process of trying to relearn who I was.
Mm,
And in that situation, that was, the loss of my corporate job.
mm,
My identity of being an employee was gone. And so much of my life had been focused on my work that it shook me to the foundation. It was trying to relearn who Katie was. And in relearning who Katie was, I found that there were lots of opportunities where instead of standing up, I just kept my mouth shut and I took a back seat because it was easier to just coast along than to confront.
right.
And even if it was something as simple as somebody cutting me off on traffic and me just completely ignoring them instead of yelling, screaming, swearing, or whatever. trying to give a kinder, I was telling myself I was trying to give a kinder story when on the inside I was yelling, screaming, and swearing. So on the surface, everything looked hunky-dory, but on the inside, it was tsunami season.
Yeah, I feel like tsunami season, I don't know about you, but so somebody was telling me this, they're like, wow, yeah, the year's going by so fast. I'm like, what? Like, how? For me, I feel like I'm going through tidal wave after tidal wave every 5 minutes, and I'm like on the brink of feeling each one. Like that was my like my first like 5 months, I felt like was a good 7 to 8 years. Like just a full on growth.
I had the best experience the best explanation I had was when I was 14. I started working at the local garden center. So I was a freshman in high school, and there was a senior who was working at the garden center, and they told me, enjoy this time in high school. It is going to fly by. And I remember thinking, there's no way 4 years is going to fly by. And then all of a sudden I felt like I was graduating high school, and I was like, crap, where'd the last 4 years of my life go? Because in hindsight, it felt like it flew by. But as I was approaching the event of high school, it felt like I had all the time in the world. I look at things now, I remember how long my pregnancy felt, waiting for Austin to come. He's now 20. Where the hell did the last 20 years go?
I understand that. I feel that.
And you're feeling that now with Midnight, with how quickly Midnight is growing.
Well, it makes me yeah, she's supposed to be 120 pounds in about like a year and 7 months. So yeah, the fact that she's like growing an inch a week, I'm like, okay, puppy training school investment opportunity right there, right there. It's like on the dartboard of the next thing I need to pay for, because she is getting bigger, and I really don't want to be sued if she bites somebody. Like it's because the thing is like, one, I've always wanted a gentle giant. That still comes with the responsibility of training my gentle giant.
Absolutely.
So yes, that to those awkward pain points of like, also just the moment when I realized how much you grow. I don't know, like if it,
there's been a lot of shifting in both of our worlds.
Yeah, and what's funny is like we're connecting now, and I can already tell both of us feel different.
Yeah. You are, from my perspective, a little bit more calmer and centered than where you were last time we recorded an episode, where it was like everything was, oh my God, she's eating my iPods.
Yes. It was also around that time too. I was also changing doctors again. I was also getting ready for, I was going somewhere. I was in the midst of a finality of breakup.
I think so. Because that was right after the time that I came back from doing that event for the Teen Suicide Prevention Society in California.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I actually just hosted a community networking mixer last night with the mayor of West Hollywood, the business commissioner of West Hollywood, and 2 state representatives, and somebody who's also running for council, along with the local businesses in West Hollywood, to really bring the community together and share resources.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you. So like, it's funny because all of the other personal stuff is going on, and then that just naturally came along.
That does tend to happen.
Well, it's so, ladies and gentlemen, whoever has ADHD out there, hi. You're not alone. It's
Join the
funny
club.
how, well, yeah. So the personal things, like the personal, they call it the ADHD tax. So it's harder to take care of yourself in these small, what people consider small ways to take care of yourself. But when it comes to work or being able to create something or build something, job wise, whatever, it's easy. But when it comes to making sure I have contacts, it's a bit of a stressful moment.
Or that there's food in the fridge.
That's not good at that point. Yeah.
I can admit to that one just because of the fact that right now I think the only thing in my refrigerator besides condiments is a bag of onions.
I got a full meal in the fridge. I'm doing good today. Got water, I got a ginger beer, and I got cookies. I am happy.
I am going to be pulling some stuff out of the freezer and cooking tomorrow, so there will be stuff in the fridge tomorrow, but right now there's not so much.
Another growth point too for somebody who has ADHD and who lives alone. It can get pretty intensive. So it's like the awkward moment of, oh shoot, I need my medication in 3 days.
Mm.
Oh shoot, I forgot that my contact prescription expired. And it's funny because the thing is, my dog, everything is handled immediately, on time, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. It's the same with kids. Well, I can't say for everyone, but for me, it's the same. I will drop
For most,
everything in half a second for Austin.
For most moms, yes, 100%. Same thing here. I would do the same thing for my nieces, nephews, exes.
Yeah, but when it comes to, oh, I need to eat, no, I'll just drink some more water. I'll be fine.
Or a cookie.
Or a handful of M&Ms.
Yeah, or the crust of the pizza that your kids ate.
Yep. Yeah, eating the leftover crust. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's real. I think like, yes, I do feel a lot more sun. I feel different actually. But let me mention that. I was talking to a friend, I think 2 days ago, and I was like, I don't know what it is, but the way that I feel is different. The way that I've been, chanting is different. Like just the way that I'm like being just feels really different. And I can't put a finger on it. I have no idea what it is.
Hmm.
Maybe it's motherhood. I don't know. But what I do understand is like I'm panicking less.
Which is a very good thing.
It's a very nice thing. This thing
Yeah.
isn't driving me nuts. She's been really cute. There are moments where I'm sitting and I'm like in a rabbit hole on my phone, and she'll come up next to me, put her head right on me, and then fall asleep. And I'm just like, I mean, you kind of can't go in a rabbit hole anymore.
Yeah.
Or in the moments of grieving, she knows. So
Yeah.
she'll do two things. One, come closer to me, cuddle where my heart is, and go to sleep. Great.
Very sweet.
Two, sock me in the eye without fail. Just what are you doing? Feed me. Like when I'm about to like mourn or cry about something, she goes, I'm like,
knocking you out of it.
yeah. Maybe it's that.
Well, it's been very interesting because I know that like my sister Stephanie has I'm going to say fairly new. They've had their rescue for several months now. But the dog suffers from anxiety, was apparently not treated well before adopted by my sisters.
Okay.
And now has gotten to the point to where they can lay down and be still instead of constantly running around my sister's apartment trying to find out where she and her husband are to make sure that they're not home alone.
Yeah, that's what's been happening with her, which has been really intense because I know that like when I got her, and ladies and gentlemen, if you watch previous episodes, the way that I got her was somebody gave her to me for free in a park. Came up to me and was like, "Hey, who wants a free puppy?" Had ticks, worms, whatnot. Definitely looked like she was abused because she was really skittish towards anyone but me. Anytime she did certain acts, she would run and hide. It was like an accident in the house, right?
Right.
Right. She doesn't do that anymore. She actually is pretty good off leash now, which is interesting. Not common. Also, she knows when to stop. If I do this, she stops, quiets down, sits, and looks at me, and then I give her a treat. That way, I'm not yelling at her, so that she's not, like if you're yelling at a dog, it sounds like you're abusing the poor thing. So I just was like, I don't want I don't want that happening with my puppy.
No, but you've taken the time to learn her cues and create cues that she can recognize.
Yeah.
So then that way you guys have communication.
Exactly, and calm moments. And another thing is a lot of people in my circle recently, like I feel like you know how your circle of friends or your colleagues or whatnot, or even your friends, like they bring their new version of themselves or whatnot. I just feel like there's been more communication with a lot of people in my life, including somebody that I hosted that event with last night.
Right.
Went really well. It was great. Another person that I can think about is like one of my friends. He used to live here. He moved to London, came back. He's a new version of himself, and the communication that we have is very, very good. The guys I've been trying. So
I don't know what you've been trying, but that look on your face.
So let's talk about that awkward moment of trying something new. Okay. So I actually love being alone. I'm not the type of person who needs to be in a relationship all the time.
Right.
I'm okay with it. Do I want to build with somebody? Yes, I would love that. Do I need it? No, I don't. It's okay. We got puppy and my family and good friends and my life. So I love that. Apparently, it looks good to people too. So
yeah, it looks like you've got your stuff together and that you're not requiring other people to fill in the gaps for you.
Exactly. That's not ever supposed to be the case, in my opinion, but whatever.
Right.
So like, so what's been happening is I'm not on dating apps. I'm not trying to date anyone, or I'm not like, I'm going to the grocery store, coming back home, going out with friends. I'm being social with a group of people that I find to be interesting. Like Hermione's father hosted her in the movie, not Emma Watson, but like Hermione's father in the movie, the actor hosted a party out here. And I got to go and meet some really amazing individuals. Anytime I'm like, oh, I get to go to this thing, or a friend of a friend brought me to this thing.
A little awkward, but
it's like it's raining men wherever I go. I can't like I'm doing that.
Good for you though.
Thank you. It's a little scary. I've been like, I get a text message and I'm just like, oh shit. I wanted to heal the time. I still need to like give me it's June now, folks. So if you're watching this in August, maybe there's a better chance. But like but to be really real, come here, honey. I know you're stuck. Oh, she's stuck. Okay. To be very fair, like that's been an awkward pain point where people are like, hey, I'm like, hey.
Yeah, I can understand that from the point as to where there are times where the universe is sending people our way when we are not ready for them.
Yeah, I think they do. And they think you're ready. And then you're sitting there and you're just like, that means I gotta grow in 5 weeks. No, I'm just kidding. But it is a good like reminder. For instance, an individual asked me on a coffee date, and I'm like, that's actually okay. I can do that. I can do that right now. Can I go buck wild with you at a concert tomorrow night and like drink and like have a full on escapade and dinner and whatnot? No, honey. Like take a trip to Hawaii. Like, not right now. But
And
when it comes down,
as tempting as that would be, it's not
yeah,
what you want.
I'm like, I remember when I went through my first breakup this year. I went out with who I call my big brothers, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've shared this with everybody. I have an older sister who is 11 years older than me. And then growing up, she married her middle school sweetheart, essentially. And they were together for 10 years. So when I was 8 years old, they were 10 years older, 11 years older,
Mm-hmm.
19. So all of them knew me as little sister. So I have a friend group that's about like 11, 15 years older than me.
Right.
And I went out with them. There was one guy in the group that was really single and was just like, by the time we were done, was like, I want to marry you. You want kids? I'm like, yes.
But not today.
Whoa. And it was just crazy how that's been manifesting recently. And like those have been awkward pain points where I'm like, yeah, I wanted it. I don't know you yet. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of inner dynamics, I think, with these awkward moments that we're having, because it's not just awkward because of the situation, it's awkward because we're still trying to sort out where we are before we can let somebody else come in.
Exactly. And also reassess the damage that was.
Yeah, damage is a
Yeah.
whole nother conversation.
Yes, it is, but it's also very important. So we're gonna lightly tap that one.
Okay.
Just in the essence of like you have to really reassess where are the pain points that are still bothering you from the last relationship. What is it that's like your eyes kind of do a rapid eye movement when you think about it. Like,
Right.
and those are really important because when those resurface in any situation, regardless if it's a relationship or if you're single, those need to be dealt with like soon so that you are in a good place to be around. Not, and I'm not saying anyone's a danger to anybody else,
Right.
but in order for you to grow and actually feel safe to grow, those things that you may have avoided for a very long time need to be looked at and reassessed or at least unpacked so that you feel free to move forward.
I heard a very interesting suggestion
Mm.
when it came to getting to know people and just building relationships in general. This could
Mm-hmm.
be a new best friend, this could be a new acquaintance, this could be a possible prospect for your business.
Mm.
12 points of contact before any kind of commitment. That means having at least 12 conversations with a person before you agree to go out on a date with them.
I like that.
I
Oh,
mean,
snap.
if
That's
nothing
what
else, think about it. Wouldn't it be nice to at least have 12 conversations with someone to kind of get to know them before you have enough information to decide whether it's worth your time to go out with them?
I like that standard. I do.
And that's kind of where I'm thinking I'm starting, at least with like potential people who want to hire me for tech support, for example, even though I really don't want to do tech support anymore. I'm having on my calendar, I have 6 instead of 12. Figure I got to start somewhere. But at least, 6 conversations with these people, because I don't want someone to hire me and me be at 911 beck and call 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, my email's not working kind of phone calls. No,
Oh my gosh, I was
nobody
talking to
pays
somebody
me
about
enough for
that.
that.
Yeah, I was
Nope,
talking to
not even my
oh,
mom pays me enough for that.
I was talking to somebody about that. It was like 100, it was about like they just need some graphic design help. And
Hmm.
I I graphic design is actually pretty, what's the word for it? It's pretty
Intuitive for you?
Yeah, it's very simple. Like it's
Yeah.
very fun for me. I just have to sit with the person, kind of get their vibe, and then I'll create something done in an hour, not or less, to be
Hmm.
honest, and give it to them and they're good to go. Right. But I'm not going to be somebody that will just work with anyone that will do that. Because if I get
Right.
one of those, honey. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So I granted there are a handful of people that because they're part of this networking not networking group, but because they're part of this community that I am very familiar with.
Mm,
I know these people appreciate my time, even if I
mm,
haven't had more than maybe one conversation with them. That if
mm,
they called me up and said, Katie, can I hire you for 1 hour to help me out with something? I am perfectly okay with that.
mm.
But if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I want to hire you as my weekly tech support person, you're going to have to court me. I'm sorry. You're going to have to have a couple conversations with me. I need to
You're
know
gonna have to
exactly
court
what it
me.
is that you need or what you
Yeah.
are looking for. Because if you want me to design a app for you, um, yeah, that's a huge deal. And no, you're not going to get a discount price on that.
No, especially like, it's so funny. A lot of people start associating paying me a lot more for what I don't want to do,
Right.
which is yes. So we got to start flipping that a little bit.
So
um,
instead of me throwing out all of this information in reference to hire me, hire me, hire me, have a conversation with me.
yeah.
Because it could be that you're trying to hire me for something that you really don't need. It could just
Or
be a
don't,
5 minute fix.
yeah, or don't want me to do it. So for instance, I was actually speaking with somebody today, and he acknowledged something to my face that I was very grateful to hear. But at the same time, all right, so a lot of people get into this little weird mentality about like this idea that we came together to do. I own you now,
Yeah.
kind of thing. I don't play that. And I actually was, we were doing that 12 points of conversation. And I
Hmm.
remember mentioning to this person because I've dealt with people who have that type of mentality or have that crap mentality or whatever, right? And I'm like, like, like nothing makes me want to run, dip, dodge, and freaking speed off than seeing that flag fly. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want, because when that happens, there is something to it where you don't, it stifles the growth. It stifles your ability to want to create or do anything, right?
True. And I think that falls into this whole, unfortunately, it's become a societal thing. It's become getting to know someone based on those 30-second Instagram reels
Right.
or those 1 minute YouTube shorts or so. I mean, we use them, yes. But I also know that that might grab someone's attention, but it's inviting them to have a conversation
And do more.
and
Exactly.
to
And
do more. It's not just, oh, here, you see me, now love me forever. No.
no, 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 no. And it's funny because I was,
We
all
gotta
right, I'm gonna
work,
say
we gotta work to build up to that.
exactly. And I'm gonna transparently share something because I found something out really recently that guys around my age, for whatever reason, unless they're like from another country or something, I don't know.
Right.
They tend to do that, the 30-second I love you
Uh-huh.
type of thing. And then they stay at that surface level like that's gonna build anything.
Yeah, no.
No,
It
I
it
actually,
it's
yeah, I
too
started
it's too it's too easy to discredit is what
exactly.
is
And
what I'm thinking because all you have to do is go on social media. You can see where they said I love you to 30 some other people.
yeah, and it's weird because like to be very fair and to be honest, like I was working with like a potential business partner and they learned me so much faster and
Hmm.
understood me so much faster in maybe 3 days compared to that type of relationship of 30-second ooh, right?
And I really think that it's the communication, it's the contact. It's the actual being curious about the other person
It's the
and
building. Yeah.
not the what's in it for me, but what can I do for you?
And we can sense that. Like, I remember there was somebody that I was like, Skylar, I'm gonna name
Hmm.
him Skylar. Very hopeful.
Skylar is our favorite code name.
Yes. You can sense when somebody just wants something for you, from you, right?
Right.
You can really sense it. Do you hope that that wasn't the case?
Yeah. And
That's
unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck on the radio channel WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Did you see my face with like, do you hope?
Yeah.
You hope like people are deeper than that? Do-
I am learning that for me to find out requires those extra points of contact, requires those additional conversation, requires for me to be curious.
So actually looking back on one of those previous relationships from Skylar,
Hmm.
I hit the 10. I remember hitting that 10 point
Right.
where I went,
Hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've ever done this. Oh, like when you find out the depth of somebody and they share it and they show it, and you're just like, oh no, I lost all attraction to you in that one moment. No, like just sorry.
Well, you have a couple options at that point.
Oh no, you don't.
You do. You always have options. You may not like the options,
Oh,
but you always have options.
so let put a pin in the options. We're gonna come back to that, Katie.
Of course.
Can I share? All right. So when I realized that there was that one moment where I went 12 points of contact, right?
Hmm.
So everything had been surface up until that point, and I had known this person for about a year and a half already, right?
Yeah.
I thought I knew the person, and then I hit that one point, and I just went. So they shared something, and it was their honest truth, and I accept them for who they are.
Right. We can still love the person even if it's not
Yeah,
immediately in love.
it was the pure essence of, oh, that's who you are,
Oh,
right? And because we finally got to those depths, and I was able to see it, I was like, oh, we're not gonna, no, it's not, we're not gonna make it. Like, because like I knew to that extent of how deeply caring I can be,
hmm.
and how that may not be reciprocated based off of what was shared. I went, oof, 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 oof.
One
That's
of
not,
that's tough.
yeah.
But one of the things that I have been learning and have been struggling with, to be honest, but I am learning it, is that I am choosing to love everyone, even if I do not agree with their actions.
100%. And don't get me wrong, I accepted the person for who they were and what they did and how
Right,
they did it and how strong they were in that moment to kind of go through that. And it has to do a lot with suicide prevention, right?
right.
I remember thinking, in those crucial moments, you know who a person really is.
Yeah. There's a lot of vulnerability in that.
Exactly. And
And
it was,
when we're vulnerable, we show our true selves.
yeah, and it is beautiful to see what people will do um, from a place of compassion.
Hmm.
And then there's also another part of it where it's not the compassion and it's a bit of a level of selfishness.
I
Um,
can see that.
and thinking it's okay. That was really hard for me to swallow. I feel like sometimes people don't understand what we're going through when it comes to mental health awareness and suicide prevention, which I understand. I completely get it. If you haven't been in that world, you haven't been exposed to those types of emotions, right?
Well, there's still a whole lot of stigma around it all too. So it's
Yeah. And
difficult to find good information.
Yeah. But I've always been that friend who kind of understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
When somebody's going through it, how they're going through it, and being that person that will be there to see you through it is like the type of person I've always been when it comes to really hard situations, especially with my hometown friends. That's why we're still like, we could pick up like where we left off, or
Mm-hmm.
any community members that I meet with here, right? And I'm here for you, Katie, as well. So
Of course.
yeah, so when I saw this moment, I was kind of like, hmm. When you can, you've seen exactly what you need to see to be like, okay, this isn't gonna work.
Yes. I can think of a couple of relationships where I have come across situations where it's like they finally showed me their true colors.
And that's
And
one of the biggest awkward moments.
it is a very big awkward moment. And as much as you didn't like my comment earlier about you having options.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the options.
You
No,
do
it's
have
true.
options.
It's true. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because I can only speak for myself in this case. The options are take it 100% as truth and make a decision to walk away. Take it as it's just a weak moment and completely disregard it and choose to stay. The misbelief that we can change people when we really need to work on changing ourselves first. And realizing that every now and then it's a mirror when someone drops a truth like that shows them at the core. It's not necessarily a mirror as in, oh, that's now a value that you have, but it's shining a light on something that you still need to work on around that.
Yeah. And number 5, ignore it.
Yeah, ignore it.
That one doesn't really work.
That one doesn't work.
That is an option.
Number 2 doesn't work. I mean, in some situations, none of them work.
Join us next week for more of the discussion. Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.